Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Kochi in Kerala, set to launch a slew of developmental programs. Earlier, grand welcome was accorded to Prime Minister Modi in Chennai. The PM greeted the people of the southern state of Tamil Nadu in a traditional way, paying tributes to the late former Chief Ministers J. Jayalalitha and Bharat Ratna MGR. Says his government is dedicated to the development of Tamil Nadu. The PM pays tributes to the martyrs of Pulwama terror attack, says India wants peace but will protect its sovereignty at any cost, dedicates 118 indigenously built upgraded main battle tanks to the Indian Army. The PM inaugurates a slew of projects for Tamil Nadu, dedicates a new metro line for Chennai, new rail link for Chennai port and key irrigation projects. At least 14 people killed and several people injured in a road accident in southern state of Andhra Pradesh in Kurnool district. Prime Minister Modi expresses grief over the loss of lives in the incident. Today marks 2 years of the Pulwama terror attack when 40 personnel of the Central Reserve Police Force were killed in a suicide bombing IED-laden blast. Vice President, Prime Minister and Home Minister pay tributes to the brave hearts. Thousands of protesters take to the streets in Myanmar's major cities for a 9th straight day of anti-coup demonstrations after a fearful night of residents forming patrols to thwart night arrests. Engineering students marched through downtown Yangon demanding the release of former leader Aung San Suu Kyi. The US Senate falls short to impeach former President Donald Trump on charge of inciting insurrection. Many Republicans back the former president. Senate votes 57 to 43 to acquit Donald Trump on a charge of inciting the 6th of January riot at US Capitol. And England are bowled out for 134 in their first innings on day 2 of the Chennai Test against India. R. Ashwin picks 5 wickets. Namaskar, you have the latest here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who arrived in the Tamil Nadu capital Chennai on a tour of the southern state, and he's also now in Kerala, was given a grand reception in a traditional way when he reached Chennai. The spirit was festive with people playing traditional drums and donning costumes to welcome the Prime Minister on the long route from the airport to the venue of the program. People waved party flags of the BJP and ally AIADMK, and they were there all along the route. The PM acknowledged and thanked the people for their warm welcome.
The city is full of energy and enthusiasm. It is a city of knowledge and creativity. From Chennai today, we begin key infrastructure projects. These projects are symbols of innovation and indigenous development. These projects will further the growth of Tamil Nadu.
The Prime Minister also handed over the indigenously designed, developed and manufactured Arjun mail battle tank MK-1A to Army Chief Manoj Mukund Narvane. The PM was accorded the ceremonial salute by the turret of the upgraded Arjun tank. He interacted with the crew of the tank as well. This battle tank has been indigenously designed, developed and manufactured by CVRDE, DRDO along with 15 academic institutions, 8 labs and several MSMEs. The Prime Minister said Tamil Nadu is fast evolving as a tank manufacturing hub of India.
I am proud to hand over the indigenously designed and manufactured main battle tank Arjun Mark 1A. It also uses indigenous ammunition. Tamil Nadu is already the leading automobile manufacturing hub of India. Now I see Tamil Nadu evolving as the tank manufacturing hub of India. A tank made in Tamil Nadu will be used in our northern border to keep the nation safe. This showcases India's united spirit, Bharat's Ekta Darshan.
The PM also inaugurated Phase 1 extension of the Chennai Metro costing 3,770 crore rupees in the southern state.
This project has been completed on schedule despite the global pandemic. The civil construction activities were done by Indian contractors. The rolling stock has been procured locally. This in line with the boost to Atmanirbhar Bharat.
And the PM also laid the foundation stone for setting up IIT Madras Discovery Campus in Thayur near Chennai. The project will come up in an area of 2 lakh square meters at 1,000 crore rupees in the first phase.
One of the most verdant campuses anywhere in the world. The Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi graced the 56th convocation at IIT Madras in 2019 to commemorate its Diamond Jubilee and saw some glimpses of the research contributions made by IIT Madras to the nation in technologies related to water, telecommunications and healthcare, among many others. As an institution of eminence, IIT Madras has embarked on a journey to take its research global and fulfill the Honorable Prime Minister.
Friends, the Discovery Campus of IIT Madras will have a 2 lakh square meter infrastructure to house world-class research centers. I'm sure that very soon the Discovery Campus of IIT Madras will be a leading center of discovery.
And the PM also saluted the sacrifice of Pulwama's martyrs. He said that India's armed forces are fully capable of protecting the nation. He said that India will protect its sovereignty at all cost.
No Indian can forget this day. 2 years ago, the Pulwama attack happened. We pay homage to all the martyrs we lost in that attack. We are proud of our security forces. Their bravery will continue to inspire generations. Our armed forces significantly India's ethos of courage. They have shown time and again that they are fully capable of protecting our motherland. Time and again, they have also shown India believes in peace, but India will protect sovereignty at all costs. धीर भी है, वीर भी है, सैन्य शक्ति and धैर्य शक्ति of our forces are remarkable.
And the PM made that remark because today marks 2 years of the Pulwama terror attack, when 40 personnel of the CRPF, that is the Central Reserve Police Force, were killed after a suicide bomber rammed an IED-laden vehicle into the security convoy carrying these martyrs. Remembering the sacrifice of the brave hearts, the 76th Battalion of the CRPF paid tributes to the martyrs at their headquarters in Jammu. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu paid tributes to the martyrs of the Pulwama terror attack, expressing solidarity with the families who lost their loved ones in the incident. Taking to Twitter, the Vice President said, and I quote, "I join the nation in paying my humble tributes to the CRPF personnel who were martyred in the dastardly Pulwama terror attack. A grateful nation will always remember their patriotism and supreme sacrifice. My solidarity with the families who lost their loved ones in the attack." And Union Home Minister Amit Shah too paid homage to the CRPF personnel who lost their lives 2 years ago in the Pulwama terror attack. The Home Minister said, and I quote, "I bow down to the brave martyrs who lost their lives in the gruesome Pulwama attack on this day in 2019. India will never forget their exceptional courage and supreme sacrifice." At least 14 people were killed and several injured in a collision between a bus carrying 18 people on board and a truck in the southern state of Andhra Pradesh's Kurnool district in the wee hours this morning. The accident took place near Madarpuram village in Veldurti Mandal of the state's Kurnool district, and the injured have been admitted to the government general hospital. Among the dead are 1 child, 8 women and 5 men. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy has expressed shock on the accident and instructed officials to provide better medical care to survivors. The police says that the accident might have taken place because of the driver's negligence. The bus was carrying a group of about 18 people who were going to Ajmer from Madanpalli. And Prime Minister Modi has also expressed grief over the road accident in Andhra Pradesh's Kurnool district. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "The road accident in Andhra Pradesh's Kurnool district is saddening. In this hour of sadness, my thoughts are with those who lost their loved ones. I hope that the injured recover at the earliest." Now, under the largest vaccination drive in the country, more than 8.2 million beneficiaries have been vaccinated against COVID-19. Till the last update that came in at 8 a.m. today, 8,263,858 beneficiaries have been vaccinated so far. 296,211 beneficiaries were vaccinated on a single day yesterday. India started the second dose of COVID-19 vaccination as well on Saturday. 7,668 healthline workers received the second dose on the first day itself. Union Health Secretary has reviewed the COVID-19 vaccination drive with all states and union territories. He's urged states and union territories to hold regular meetings of state and district level adverse events following immunization AEFI committees and to ensure that beneficiaries are informed about AEFIs at the vaccination session sites. Let's now get you an update on the COVID-19 situation from across the country. Well, with yet another significant achievement, India's active cases are declining on a daily basis. The total active cases of the country now comprise only 1.26% of the total cases. 996 new active cases were recorded in the last 24 hours, while 11,106 new recoveries were registered in the same period. National recovery rate at 97.31% continues to be one of the highest globally. The continued high rise in the recoveries has led to progressively improving national recovery rate. The total recovered cases now stand at 1,611,731. The gap between active cases and recovered cases is continuously increasing and now stands at 1,474,164. And let's also tell you about what is the COVID-19 situation across the world as well. Well, the tally of COVID-19 cases worldwide has surpassed 10,90,91,326. The total recoveries now stand at 8,11,17,985. The deadly virus has claimed over 24,04,000 lives globally, and the US continues to remain the worst affected from the COVID-19 outbreak, where more than 2,81,96,000 cases have been registered. The country has reported over 4,96,000 lives being lost due to COVID-19. Now, the White House on Saturday called on China to make available data from the earliest days of the COVID-19 outbreak, saying it has deep concerns about the way the findings of the World Health Organization's COVID-19 team have been communicated. White House National Security Advisor said in a statement that it is imperative that the report be independent and free from alteration by the Chinese government, echoing concerns raised by the administration of former President Donald Trump, who also moved to quit the WHO over the issue. China has fired back at Washington after it raised concerns about WHO COVID report. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus on Friday said all hypotheses were still open about the origins of the COVID-19 virus, after Washington said it wanted to review data from a WHO-led experts team. Now, Education Ministry of Bangladesh has announced a further extension of the closure of schools and other educational institutions till the 28th of February in view of the coronavirus pandemic. However, the Qawmi Madrasas will remain open. Schools and other educational institutions in the country have remained closed since the 18th of March after the first corona-positive case was found in Bangladesh on the 8th of March. Examinations for higher secondary certificate and junior secondary certificate have also been cancelled earlier. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 vaccination program in the country is moving ahead at full swing. After a tepid start, the vaccination program has quickly gained popularity. And thousands of protesters took to streets in Myanmar's major cities for a 9th straight day of anti-coup demonstrations today after a fearful night of residents forming patrols to thwart night arrest after the army rolled back the laws protecting freedoms. Engineering students marched through downtown Yangon, the biggest city, wearing white and carrying placards demanding the release of former leader Aung San Suu Kyi, who's been in detention since Myanmar's military overthrew her elected government on the 1st of February. Many protesters in Yangon carried signs calling out to authorities to stop kidnapping people at night. The coup has prompted the biggest street protests in more than a decade and has been denounced by Western countries, with the US announcing some sanctions on the ruling generals and other countries also considering such measures. And it was hard to fall asleep in Myanmar's biggest city on Friday night as people banged on pots and pans, warning each other of security forces out to make night arrests. The anonymous videographer who witnessed such an event told that the crowd had at least once made the police turn back from driving towards the direction of West Yangon Hospital. Now, the US Senate on Saturday acquitted Donald Trump of inciting the mob that stormed the Capitol last month, sparing him from conviction in his second impeachment trial in a year, despite broad condemnation of his role in sparking the deadly siege. The Senate voted 57-43 in favor of convicting the former president, falling short of the two-thirds majority needed to do so. In the vote, 7 of the 50 Senate Republicans joined the chamber's unified Democrats in favoring conviction after a week-long trial in the same building, ransacked by Trump supporters after they heard him deliver an incendiary speech on the 6th of January. Now, President pro tempore of the Senate, Patrick Leahy, during the trial announced former President Donald Trump is not guilty of on the charges of the articles of impeachment.
The yeas are 57, the nays are 43. Two-thirds of the senators present not having voted guilty. The Senate judges that the respondent, Donald John Trump, former President of the United States, is not guilty as charged in the article of impeachment. Presiding officer directs judgment to be entered in accordance with the judgment of the Senate as follows. The Senate, having tried Donald John Trump, former President of the United States, upon one article of impeachment exhibited against him by the House of Representatives, and two-thirds of the senators present not having found him guilty of the charge contained therein, it is therefore ordered and adjudged that the said Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby acquitted of the charge in said article.
And Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on Saturday called the acquittal of former President Donald Trump a vote of infamy following the Senate's failure to obtain a two-thirds majority to convict him. Following the vote, Schumer took to the Senate floor where he accused Republicans who voted in favor of Trump of choosing the former president over the country. He said, and I quote, "The most despicable act that any president has ever committed, and the majority of Republicans cannot summon the courage or the morality to condemn it."
The failure to convict Donald Trump will live as a vote of infamy in the history of the United States Senate. The former president tried to overturn the results of a legitimate election and provoked it on our own government. And well over half the Senate Republican conference decided to condone it. The most despicable act that any president has ever committed, and the majority of Republicans cannot summon the courage or the morality to condemn it. This was about choosing country over Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump ever stands for public office again, and after everything we have seen this week, I hope, I pray, and I believe that he will meet the unambiguous rejection by the American people.
Also, U.S. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell called Donald Trump practically and morally responsible for his supporters' deadly attack on the Capitol only moments after voting to acquit the Republican former president on an impeachment charge of inciting the melee. The top Senate Republican explained the unexpected turnaround at the end of a 5-day impeachment trial by declaring it unconstitutional to convict Trump of misconduct now that the former president has left office and become a private citizen.
If President Trump were still in office, I would have carefully considered whether the House managers proved their specific charge. By the strict criminal standard, the president's speech probably was not incitement. However, in the context of impeachment, the Senate might have decided this was acceptable shorthand for the reckless actions that preceded the riot. But in this case, the question is moot because former President Trump is constitutionally not eligible for conviction. Put another way, in the language of today, President Trump is still liable for everything he did while he was in office.
And former U.S. President Donald Trump thanked his defense team and his supporters and cast himself as being the subject of the country's greatest witch hunt after Saturday's acquittal in the U.S. Senate at his second impeachment trial after being accused of inciting the mob that stormed the Capitol last month. Trump published his statement on social media platform Gab due to being kicked off Twitter shortly before his presidential term ended. Trump took a swipe at the Democratic Party, saying they had a free pass to denigrate the rule of law, defame law enforcement, cheer mobs, excuse rioters, and transform justice into a tool of political vengeance. Now, at least 60 people were injured as hundreds of fuel vehicles exploded in a massive blaze that tore through a customs port in Afghanistan close to the Iranian border. Saturday's fire disrupted power supplies and caused millions of dollars in damage. Thora Bradley Watson has reported that hundreds of fuel vehicles exploded close to Afghanistan's border with Iran on Saturday, injuring dozens of people. The fire tore through a customs post in the border town of Islam Kala, disrupting power supplies and causing millions of dollars in damage. Video obtained by Reuters showed thick plumes of black smoke rising into the air. Iranian authorities sent ambulances and fire engines across the border to help tackle the blaze, which as of Saturday had reportedly been brought under control. NATO-led personnel in Afghanistan were also asked to help contain the fire. Now let's get you the latest on what's happening as far as the Chennai test is concerned as well. The second test between India and England being played at home here in India. Well, what's happened is that a miserable batting collapse left England staring down the barrel of a heavy defeat in the second test match against India in Chennai. On day 2, England were all out for 134 in their first innings. Ishant Sharma struck early to get India off to a dream start as he removed Rory Burns for a duck in the very first over of the England innings. Spinner Ravichandran Ashwin took 4 wickets and debutant Akshar Patel picked up 2 to push England onto the back foot. Ashwin got Dom Siddique caught at leg slip at the hands of Virat Kohli, while Akshar removed Joe Root. Soon Daniel Lawrence became Ashwin's second victim. Ollie Pope and Ben Foakes combined in the middle and stopped Indian spinners from making further inroads. Virat Kohli then turned to his second pacer Mohammad Siraj and he delivered straight away, dismissing Ollie Pope for 22 runs. And in their second innings now, India are at a score of 54 for the loss of 1 wicket, which was in the shape of Gill. Earlier, Moeen Ali and Ollie Stone picked up 2 wickets apiece on day 2 morning to wind up India's first innings at 329 all out. Rishabh Pant scored some gutsy blows and brought up his half century. He kept losing partners from the other end and was left stranded at 58 not out. And that's all we have for the moment in this edition of the news. For all the latest, stay tuned to DD India.